The package arrives in 2 days, sometimes one. You didn't really need what's inside, but that doesn't matter. Because the moment you clicked buy now, something happened. Your brain relaxed, you felt a tiny hit of relief, a small spark of excitement. Like you just solved a problem. Like you did something good for yourself. And that feeling, that rush, is exactly what online shopping is built to trigger. Not because you're irresponsible, not because you're bad with money, but because your brain is being chemically rewarded for spending. This is the dopamine trap of online shopping. And once you understand how it works, it becomes a lot easier to see why so many people feel broke even when they're not buying anything that expensive. Because the danger isn't one huge purchase, it's the constant drip of small ones. The packages, the deals, the just this once, the late night scrolling, the impulse checkout, the feeling that you're doing something when really you're just feeding a loop. Let's start with dopamine, because dopamine gets misunderstood all the time. Dopamine is not the happiness chemical. It's not what makes you feel satisfied. Dopamine is the anticipation chemical. It's what your brain releases when it thinks a reward is coming. It's the feeling of wanting, the feeling of chasing, the feeling of just one more. And online shopping is basically a dopamine vending machine. You scroll through products, your brain sees something new, something shiny, something that promises improvement. Better skin, better clothes, better productivity, a better version of you. And your brain goes, that could be rewarding. That could feel good. Dopamine spikes, then you click. Then you add to cart. Then you check out, and the funniest part is the biggest dopamine hit often isn't when the item arrives, it's when you buy it. Because the purchase itself feels like progress, like you've moved forward, like you've treated yourself, like you fixed something. Even if what you actually bought was a $17 water bottle you didn't need. Online shopping doesn't just sell products, it sells emotional resolution. Stressful day? Buy something. Bored? Scroll. Feeling behind in life? Upgrade something. Feeling insecure? Fix it with a purchase. And because it's all instant, your brain starts learning a simple pattern. Discomfort equals spending. Spending equals relief. That's the trap. The modern world has turned shopping into coping. And it's never been easier. Think about how shopping used to work. If you wanted something, you had to go to a store. You had to get dressed, drive there, walk around, find the item, stand in line, pay, carry it home. There was friction, time, effort, space to reconsider. Now, you can buy something in 7 seconds while laying in bed at midnight. No friction, no pause. Just click, confirm, dopamine. And companies know exactly what they're doing. One-click checkout removes hesitation. Flash sales create urgency. Limited stock warnings create anxiety. Personalized recommendations keep you scrolling. Free shipping thresholds make you spend more. Buy now, pay later makes the cost feel invisible. It's not an accident, it's design. Online shopping isn't a store anymore. It's an algorithmic slot machine. You pull the lever every time you refresh the page. And sometimes you find something exciting. Most of the time, you find something you didn't know you wanted 5 minutes ago. That unpredictability is what makes it addictive. Psychologists call it variable reward. It's the same mechanism behind gambling. You don't get rewarded every time, but you get rewarded often enough that your brain keeps chasing. And the reward isn't the object, it's the feeling. That's why so many people experience something strange. The item arrives, and you feel nothing. The package shows up, you open it, you try it, and within minutes it's just another object. Then you go back online, because the dopamine wasn't in owning it. The dopamine was in wanting it. This is why online shopping can become a cycle. Scroll, want, buy, wait, receive, repeat. And financially, it's death by 1,000 cuts. Because individually, the purchases don't feel huge. It's just $12. Just $28, just $40. Just a sale. Just a little treat. But the problem is that your brain doesn't process those as spending decisions. It processes them as emotional decisions. And emotional spending is almost always more expensive than you think. Let's do the math. If you spend $25 3 times a week on random online purchases, that's $75 a week. That's $300 a month. That's $3,600 a year. That's a vacation. That's a Roth IRA contribution. That's an emergency fund. That's the difference between feeling stuck and feeling stable. But instead, it becomes clutter in your apartment and a credit card balance you keep meaning to pay off. And there's another layer to this that matters. Because for a lot of people, this isn't just about willpower or bad habits. Mental health and brain chemistry can play a huge role in spending patterns, especially with online shopping. For example, people with ADHD often struggle with impulse control and dopamine regulation. ADHD brains tend to be understimulated, which means they're constantly searching for something that feels rewarding or engaging. Online shopping is basically perfect for that. It's fast, it's novel, it's stimulating, and it provides an instant hit of anticipation. The scroll itself becomes addictive because every new product is a new possibility, a new burst of interest. And impulsive purchases can happen before the rational part of the brain even has time to step in. It's not because someone with ADHD is irresponsible. It's because their brain is wired to chase stimulation more intensely. Depression can influence spending in almost the opposite way. When someone is depressed, they often feel emotionally flat, numb, or disconnected. Shopping can become a way to feel something, even briefly. The purchase creates a moment of excitement or distraction. The package delivery gives you something to look forward to. And when you're in that state, spending can start functioning like a form of self-medication. Not because it fixes anything, but because it temporarily interrupts the heaviness. Anxiety can do it too. Some people spend money when they feel out of control, because buying something feels like taking action. It creates the illusion of control, like you're solving a problem, improving your life, preparing for something. Even if the real issue isn't the product at all. And this is why the online shopping trap can hit certain people much harder. Because if your brain is already struggling with dopamine balance, stress regulation, or emotional lows, the instant reward of spending becomes even more powerful. That doesn't mean everyone who impulse shops has a diagnosis. And it doesn't mean mental health is an excuse to ignore finances. But it does mean the conversation needs to be more compassionate. For some people, the spending loop isn't just a money issue. It's tied to how they cope, how they regulate emotion, and how their brain searches for relief. And that's why breaking the cycle isn't always as simple as just stop buying stuff. Sometimes the real solution is recognizing what the spending is doing for you emotionally, and then finding healthier ways to meet that need. Support, therapy, routines, accountability, whatever helps. Because money habits don't exist in a vacuum. They're connected to the mind, and this is where the trap gets darker. Because online shopping doesn't just take your money, it takes your future. Every impulse purchase is money you can't invest, money you can't save, money you can't use to buy freedom. And the worst part is, it's happening quietly. Nobody feels broke because of one purchase. They feel broke because of the constant leak. Now, this doesn't mean you can never buy anything fun. The goal isn't to live like a monk. The goal is to break the dopamine spending connection. To stop using shopping as therapy. So how do you do that? The first step is awareness. The moment you feel the urge to buy something, pause and ask, what am I actually feeling right now? Am I bored? Am I stressed? Am I procrastinating? Am I lonely? Because the purchase isn't solving those problems, it's distracting from them. The second step is adding friction back into the process. Online shopping is dangerous because it's too easy, so make it harder. Remove saved cards. Delete shopping apps. Force yourself to wait 24 hours before buying anything non-essential. Put it in the cart and walk away. Most of the time, the urge disappears. Because dopamine fades, the third step is replacing the reward. Your brain wants a hit, so give it one somewhere else. Go for a walk. Call a friend. Work out. Clean something. Do something that creates a real satisfaction instead of synthetic relief. Because dopamine isn't the enemy. It's just a signal. And right now, your brain has been trained to associate spending with reward. But you can retrain it. And once you do, you start realizing something powerful. Most of the things you thought you wanted, you didn't actually want. You just wanted the feeling of wanting something. Online shopping has turned desire into a business model. But your financial life gets better when you stop chasing tiny highs and start building long-term stability. Because the truth is, financial freedom isn't about never spending. It's about spending intentionally. Not emotionally. Not impulsively. Not chemically manipulated by an algorithm designed to keep you clicking. So the next time you're about to hit buy now, take a breath. Ask yourself if you want the product. Or if you just want the dopamine. Because once you see the trap, it gets a lot easier to step out of it. If this video helped you understand your own spending habits a little better, subscribe to Brandon Invests for more videos breaking down the psychology of money, debt, and how to actually build wealth in the modern world. And I'll see you in the next one.